There is a new director of the Secret Service, and he testified before the Senate. This guy's name is Ronald Rowe. He is the acting Secret Service director, taking the place of Kimberly Cheadle. Now, if this makes you feel good, I just want to give you a little bit of information. This guy has been a part of the Secret Service for 25 years, so he has a lot of experience, right? That's good, right? When I see these people who have been a part of these institutions for a quarter of a century like this, I see someone who is steeped in the politics of an organization, of an institution. What are they going to do? They're going to simply carry on the same old, cover your butts, cover the butts of the institution, because they have been a part of this institution for nearly, their entire professional lives. So it doesn't make me feel more comfortable whatsoever having this guy being put in front of the Senate and answering questions. Bring in the local police. Bring in the police who came face to face with Thomas Crooks. Bring in that guy. We might actually get some real questions. Because while the media is trying to report that this new Secret Service director is taking a different approach to these questions and these congressional hearings, like you see here with The Hill, where they say new Secret Service director ashamed and cannot defend Trump shooting. Oh, okay. Well, that's nice. How about some accountability? And I'll play you a video here in a second where Josh Hawley gets into a yelling match with this new Secret Service director, or acting Secret Service director, Ronald Rowe, over why there's no accountability for anyone, for the individual who brought Trump up on the stage, who decided not to bring him off the stage, the person who's in charge of radio communications. Nobody has been fired. Literally, the only one who kind of has been fired, I mean, she resigned, was Kimberly Cheadle. But really, what is that? That's nothing whatsoever. But this is what's being reported on by The Hill. And I will play you this video of Josh Hawley grilling this guy here in a second. But they say acting Secret Service director Ronald Rowe struck a different tone. Oh, okay, he struck a different tone from his predecessor Tuesday, telling a meeting of dual Senate committees he was ashamed by the attempted assassination of former President Trump and was prepared to be candid with lawmakers. So once again, guys, these are simply words. These people that are in positions of power, of leadership, they come before Congress, they come before these committees, and they simply say words. And it's like a veneer of, they're doing something. Yet when you actually look behind the curtain, you realize, oh, wait, they're not doing anything. They're just simply, they're simply saying that they're sorry and that they're very, very sorry. Please, I'm so sorry. We did a mistake. Yes, we did a bad mistake. We did a boo-boo. That's what they're saying. Okay. It's incredible. And this works a lot, unfortunately, because we can look at, just like this video I'm about to play to you in a second, we can look at a senator yelling at this guy, like, oh, look at, he really slammed him big time. But when it all comes down to it, nothing gets done. No one is held accountable. We just get our sound bits, our clips, and we laugh at it. And we feel like we got something out of it. But really, what did we get out of it? Nothing at all. In his opening statement before the Senate's Judiciary Committee and Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, Rowe said he visited the site on July the 13th rally where the would-be assassination occurred and laid on the roof Thomas Matthew Crooks fired from. This is what he said. I laid in a prone position to evaluate his line of sight. Oh, wow. This guy actually got in the exact position as Thomas Matthew Crooks. Wow. This guy is really doing a great job. What I saw made me ashamed. As a career law enforcement officer and a 25-year veteran with the Secret Service, I cannot defend why that roof was not better secured to prevent similar lapses from occurring in the future. Okay. So usually, if you are ashamed and you see a, severe lapse in judgment by, the people who work under you, the people who were at that rally, there should be some swift accountability, correct? There should be some action to go along with that, deep emotional feeling of shame. That's how typical people work. But that's not how government organizations work. They say things to elicit a response. So when they say these things, people like you and me and America's like, oh, they're sorry. They're sorry. And that's good enough. But what else does he say? He says, I directed our personnel to ensure every event site security plan is thoroughly vetted by multiple experienced supervisors before it was implemented. It is clear to me that other protective enhancements could have strengthened our security. So things that are obvious, like, yeah, of course, it is clear to me that other protective enhancement could have strengthened our security. You mean like having a security perimeter over 150 yards? Like something like that, something like any normal person, any regular person would know? Like, these aren't just things that are just simply lapses in judgment. These are things that are severe, like lapses to the point where you question, what was there someone else involved here? Because these lapses are not just your normal lapses. But he gave this testimony before the Senate. I mean, he was grilled. And I think the best one that I saw was this one right here. Senator Josh Hawley. Now, while acting director Ronald Rowe was talking about how ashamed he was about this and how he saw these lapses in judgment and whatnot, Josh Hawley is like, okay, I get it. Okay, you're ashamed. That's good. It's good to feel that way because it's a shameful thing that happened. But what are you doing? What are you doing past just feeling ashamed? Who are you holding accountable? And oddly enough, it seems like this acting director is holding 0 people accountable. Listen.
American is dead, that other Americans were critically wounded. Isn't that enough mission failure for you to say that the person who decided that building should not be in the security perimeter probably ought to be stepped down?
Senator, I think you're using the word decided, and I think we need to allow the investigation play out to include.
Who did make the decision then? If it wasn't the lead site agent, who made the decision not to put that in the security perimeter?
Senator, you're zeroing in on one particular agent. I want to find out exactly what was the entire decision process. So I think I want to be neutral and make sure that we get to the bottom of it and interview everybody in order to determine if there was more than one person who perhaps exercised bad judgment.
Well, sure. My question is, why don't you relieve everybody of duty who made bad judgment?
Yes.
So, yeah, you're right. I am zeroing in on somebody. I'm trying to find somebody who's accountable here.
And
you're telling me that the person who made the decision not to include this in the perimeter has not been relieved of duty? What about the person who's in charge of the interoperability of radio frequencies between local law enforcement and Secret Service? Has that person been relieved of duty?
No, Senator, because interoperability is a challenge, is a greater challenge than just one person. On that day, we had a counterpart system. It failed.
As the person who made the decision to send Donald Trump onto stage knowing that you had a security situation, has that person been relieved of duty?
No, sir, they haven't.
Has the person who decided not to pull the former president off of stage when you knew that, in your words, the locals were working a serious security situation, has that person been relieved of duty?
No, sir. Again, I refer you back to my original answer that we are investigating this through a mission assurance. And as opposed to zeroing in on,
it's okay, guys, they're investigating it.
Investigate to know
exactly what the
more do you
decision-making
need to
process
investigate
was.
to know that there were critical enough failures that some individuals ought to be held accountable? I mean, what more do you need to know?
What I need to know is exactly what happened, and I need my investigators to do their job. And I cannot.
A lot of people didn't do their
cannot
jobs.
put my thumb on the scale. Otherwise,
what do you mean put your thumb on the
objective? You're asking me, Senator, to completely make a rush to judgment about somebody failing. I acknowledge. This was a failure.
There was a failure.
Is it not prima facie that somebody has failed? A former president was shot.
Sir, this could have been our Texas school book depository. I have lost sleep over that for the last 17 days,
then
just like you have.
Somebody
and
to
I will tell you, Senator, that I will not rush to judgment, that people will be held accountable, and I will do so with integrity and not rush to judgment and put people unfairly persecuted.
Unfairly persecuted?
Unfairly,
people
sir.
Who are
we
dead.
have to be able to have a proper investigation into this, Senator.
You said earlier that you've got to make sure that your protocols are followed, and unless there's a protocol violation, people wouldn't be disciplined. I would just say to you, I don't really care that much about your protocols. I think if your protocols don't provide for the fact that when a former president is shot, when an American is killed, when other rally-goers, innocent people who just showed up on the day, when they are shot at and critically wounded, if that isn't a protocol violation prima facie, you should revise your protocols.
So these are all just perfectly normal questions, perfectly normal things to expect. There's a breakdown in communication. Well, how has that guy been fired? The guy that was in charge of the communication? The guy who decided to restrict the perimeter to 150 yards. Well, has that guy been fired? Because that was a really dumb thing to do. Has that guy been fired? And if you think that's a little bit harsh, well, look at the results of this breakdown in communication and restricting this perimeter to such a small circumference. Where's the accountability? He's asked this, and this guy, all this guy does, all he's doing, this guy who's been in the Secret Service for 25 years, he's making excuses for everyone. He's covering the butts of everyone in the Secret Service because they start firing people willy-nilly like this. They're basically admitting that they did something wrong. They're basically admitting culpability. That's why you rarely see people being held accountable in these institutions. So these people that they trot out to these Senate hearings and these congressional hearings are just basically glorified PR people, PR individuals that go up there and they try to be as vague as possible, let out as little information as possible, and when need be, they will tell you how sorry they are for the failure that their department was involved in. But that's about all they'll do. But what do you guys think of this? What do you guys think of this new acting Secret Service director, Ronald Rowe? What do you think about him? Do you think he's going to be better? Do you think he is holding people accountable? I personally don't think so, but I guess I could be wrong. I don't know. I've just seen too many of these congressional hearings to really believe anything's going to come of this. But let me know what you think down below in the comments. Like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until then, I will see you on the next one.